Hi everyone, this is my reflective vlog of Module 13. First, I want to talk about two vital tools in working through opposition to change. One is motivational interview, which is defined as a client-centered directive method for enhancing motivation to change by exploring and resolving ambivalence. The spirit of this method is guided by the following. The first one is the collaborative partnership between the social worker and the client, developed in a climate that is conducive to change, in which the client's experiences and perceptions are honored. The second is an evocation. The social workers aim to elicit and draw out a client's intrinsic motivation based on the belief that the resources and the motivation for change are within the client relative to his or her goals, perceptions, and values. The last one is the autonomy of clients that and their capacity and the rights of self-decision, including the right to accept or not accept the counsel of the social work, which facilitates clients' informed decision making. Actually, when the social worker has a collaborative relationship with the client and the client's determination is honored, and the aim of the interview is to explore and draw out what motivates the client, I believe the change becomes possible. We could conclude the four principles of the uh, motivational interview. Um, First is engaging, means the social worker has a help connection and strong working relationship with the clients. The second is focusing, means based on the engaging, based on the positive relationship between the clients and the social worker, and then we'll have focused conversation about the change and the direction of change can occur. The third one is evoking. That means the social work try to elicit the client's motivation to change instead of, I mean, imposing a change solution that is get by the social worker, right? So yeah, and based on these three principles, and then we come to the last one principle is planning. Planning is about how to achieve the goal of change. So I believe that to develop a positive relationship with the client as a social workers, we need to keep in our mind that acceptance, ex, expectation, support, simulations are the essential elements. The other two I want to talk about is redefining problems as opportunities for growth. I chose this technique because I benefited from it. When I realized I can't change the situation or the problem, how to redefine it positively is very important. It means when we reshape our cognition to redefine the entire issue, and we will have new methods and opportunities for growth. I know uh, it is difficult to break the original behavioral patterns, but first of all, we must recognize it and then seek for change. Then I want to talk about my ability to recognize and assess behavior, as well as the use of self in working through opposition to change throughout the helping process. Actually, after I read the textbook chapters 17, chapter 18, and the other learning materials, and I had cleaner conceptions of the context in the helping process, recognize and assess behavior. Recognizing and assessing behavior is a very important part of the helping process because the appropriate strategies implemented into the case to help the clients achieve their goals are set up based on the proper recognition and assessment of the behaviors. Meanwhile, the ability to help the clients to identify the deep meaning of their behaviors or the unrealized strengths and potentialities behind their behaviors is very important in working through opposition to change throughout the helping process. Currently, I need to seek textbooks or the other resources to help me recognize and assess behavior in the helping process in each case. Therefore, if I could refer to resources, I would be more confident in recognizing and assessing behavior. Indeed, I have the ability to recognize and assess behavior skillfully. So then I want to talk about my ability to use self in the context in working through opposition to change through the helping process. Before I read the two related research papers about self, it took me a while to understand what's the real meaning of use self in the context of in a helping process as a social worker. Use of self means consciously utilizing knowledge, skills, and values of self, of the professions to enhance the client's well-being. But I think in practice, the ability to use self is important because the effect of use of self could be positive or negative. So for my own ability to use self in a helping process in the working through the opposition to change, I would like to say I am on the way. When I analyze the case as a social worker, I realize my capacity of use self needs more practice in real situations, especially in the cross-cultural, cross-racial case. I mean, this is more difficult for us to practice. However, I believe I have these important qualities to use self successfully: empathy, unconditional, positive concern, and authentic self. Additionally, self-awareness is another characteristic I have. For example, I could naturally have a sense of cross-cultural diversity when I interact with the clients. That's because I grew up in a Hakka community which strong favors Bori. As a minority group of girls, I had a sensitive sense of self-awareness. At design, I hope I could integrate my own personality traits, value systems, and life experiences with the skills I learned from the social work education in my future career perfectly.